Just feels a little bit more like intimidation and a little bit less like free speech.
Frustrated homeowners in Hamden sounding off while they're accusing some vandals of anti-Semitism at the Miracle on 34th Street. New information following Saturday's mass shooting in Woodlawn, what police are revealing about the man who died. And Baltimore City Police are stepping up their mental health resources, why experts say preparing the mind is the first step towards success in the line of duty.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
And thank you so much for joining us on this Christmas Eve. I'm Vincent Hill. The Miracle on 34th Street lights in Hamden are a festive symbol for many, showcasing traditional Christian and Jewish holidays. But tensions are rising after an apparent act of vandalism against two of the homes based on their religion and showing support for Israel on the same day as a pro-Palestine protest on the same street.
I had a man go, he called me a dirty Jew multiple times, and it wasn't anything to do with the protest, and this is completely unrelated, but that's what our life is now. That's what we're living.
And tonight, two families are on edge after what they're calling an act of anti-Semitism. Fox 45 News spoke to two homeowners and elected leaders about what they're calling a targeted attack. Over in Hamden, cars lining up to see the holiday lights.
They parked right in front of my house, right here in the streets.
But for two families Saturday night, it wasn't a miracle on 34th Street, but a nightmare before Christmas.
It was a free Palestine rally.
And a very clear message by the pro-Palestinian crowd, according to Joshua Lamont.
I noticed that there was smashed watermelon at my street.
Known as a symbol of Palestinian solidarity, the symbolism leaving Lamont speechless.
Sorry. I apologize.
The anti-Semitic rhetoric literally hitting close to home.
It's just hard, right? Like, I've lived here always. Right after I've cleaned up my watermelon, or after they stopped in front of my house and yelled at me, I went to 7-Eleven and I got called a dirty Jew.
A few houses down.
It was a little bit intense to come home to after the end of a nice weekend.
Rabbi Mush Motzkowitz returned home to find out his house had also been vandalized by a watermelon.
I think vandalizing an individual's front yard because of a flag that they hang in their window doesn't accomplish anything other than make me feel less safe.
Those safety concerns, a common occurrence for Rabbi Motzkowitz and his family.
Probably 2-3 times a week, there's some chanting in front of our home.
Councilman Isaac Yitzi Schleifer.
This is the consequence when leaders in the city fail to condemn anti-Semitism and condemn terrorist attacks against Jewish people.
Doubling down on his calls for city leaders to condemn hate.
What you end up seeing is that in those very same districts, in those neighborhoods where the leaders fail to condemn anti-Semitism, their constituents are victims of hate crimes and of open anti-Semitism.
So sorry this is happening in our world today.
Earlier this month, Schleifer proposed a resolution condemning anti-Semitism.
This is the Babayas family, Sherry and Yardane.
But it failed to pass City Hall. For Lamont and Moskowitz, they say failure to pass it has brought hate right to their front door.
This is the spot that you decide to camp down and say the things you said and yell the things you yelled and look at us and
It said they'd prefer a third candidate, while 39% backed Sheila Dixon and 27% supported Mayor Brandon Scott. Vignarajah will have to make his decision by the filing date of early February. Fox 45 News is your election headquarters. We'll continue to follow the Baltimore mayor's race and other races as they develop over the next few months. You can find all of our election coverage online right now at foxbaltimore.com. Being a Baltimore City police officer is not an easy job with the physical demands and immense mental strain. I know I've done the job. Luckily, the department has one of the best mental health units in the country. Fox 45's Maxine Stryker shows us how they help officers stay mentally fit to serve and protect.
They heard a shot in theater number 3. Theater number 3.
With a reputation as one of the country's most violent cities,
Put that shot fire. Shot fire.
those who choose to protect and serve Baltimore see it all.
For me, it's easy to remember.
Let me go first.
July 15th, 2019.
The day shift supervisors were a little short that day, so they asked me to stick around.
Captain Bill Shiflett remembers the call well.
At first, it came out as an armed person on Maryland Avenue, 2117 Maryland. And, you know, that kind of call, they're kind of a dime a dozen in this agency.
But this call at a North Baltimore methadone clinic would change everything.
Put the gun down. Put the gun down. All right, just drop it.
With one bullet to the stomach.
So that kind of felt like a nonstop punch in the stomach. The burning sensation, that's real. It was difficult to breathe.
Shiflett felt he was about to give his life to Baltimore.
You know, you're dragged out and you're laying on the ground and you're looking at the medics and the other officers, and all you're looking at is the ceiling. At that moment, I thought I might not be getting out of it. It says not today.
Now,
And it references July 15th, 2019.
on his arm,
I don't shy away from talking about it.
a permanent reminder of what he battled not only physically,
Represents that things went sideways, and that wasn't the day that it was gonna go sideways and end.
but even more so,
I did experience flashbacks.
mentally.
Talk to me a little bit about just what you went through since that day mentally.
So you don't heal from something like this quickly. I don't think you ever actually heal. You figure out a way to deal with it in a healthy way as best you can, because the alternative is to become a basket case laying in your bed, curled up, sucking your thumb. And that's not something that I would entertain.
And nor would the Baltimore City Police Department.
Director Herron reached out pretty quick.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Who am I? Where am I from?
Mental health and wellness.
Health and wellness, right.
Vernon Herron is the director of the department's Officer Safety and Wellness Program.
This is a part of the culture for Baltimore City Police Department. It's the cornerstone of our mission.
OIC, which stands for Officer in Charge.
Herron spearheaded the initiative in 2016, and it's about more than helping officers like Shiflett involved in shootings.
What is the number for our counseling services?
And it starts on day one.
And what does the sponge represent? Your brain. Water represents what? Trauma and stress, right? You can't take it anymore. You start doing things that you wouldn't normally do.
New recruits preparing to patrol the streets of Baltimore
Your sponge needs to remain dry.
first learn to prepare their minds.
A shooting. All right, let's pour some stress. That's enough. Okay, good. And when that trauma comes out of your brain, what happens?
Can't take it anymore, sir.
You can't take it anymore. You start doing things that you wouldn't normally do.
The training is mandatory for every employee of the Baltimore City Police Department.
And the only way it's going to remain dry is that you sit down and talk to a what?
The unit focuses on officer health and wellness with things like yoga, meditation, and confidential counseling. But they also strive for early intervention, monitoring members with potential problematic behaviors.
They might go home and can't get to sleep. They might go home and think they should turn to alcohol in order to manage the trauma. These are the things that we don't want them to do.
It's about getting to the root cause before it's too late.
In 2016, we were averaging 216 interventions a year, and now we're down to like 35 a year. So it is having an impact on our employees.
Herron says dozens of departments have adopted their policies and practices, making them a national leader in mental health services.
But when you have somebody that is leaning forward that checks you out real quick, it's not hard to realize that you do need the help. And on your own, you may not be as intuitive to know that you need that kind of help. And there's a lot of denial that goes into realizing that you may need psychological help. The physical wounds do heal, but the psychological part of that issue, it's not always readily healed.
For BPD officers, the days of having to compartmentalize the weight of the badge are over.
Our job is to return you to the community the way we received you. Does that understood?
Yes, sir.
And in turn, it's created not only healthier officers mentally fit to deal with the daily traumas of police work,
They have taken an oath to protect the citizens of Baltimore City.
but a healthier city
We have taken an oath to protect them and their mental health.
that, while may still be grappling with violence, can rest assured officers like Shiflett
But I'm not afraid to talk about it, you know.
are ready to respond.
I didn't want to let something like this sideline me, and I didn't.
Keep these sponges with you every day.
In Baltimore, Maxine Stryker,
Protect your sponge.
Fox 45 News.
Now, there are times BPD isn't able to offer all the help officers need, and that's why places like Harbor of Grace Recovery Center and Harvey de Grace exist. We'll take you there tomorrow night and show you how they help officers battling mental health and addiction get back on the job.
After a nice and quiet and cloudy day today, we are getting ready for a beautiful Christmas forecast. We'll start the day tomorrow with cloudy skies and temperatures around 43 at 8 a.m. That's actually closer to our average high temperature, but the numbers keep rising, and by the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures reaching the mid-50s, keeping us well above average for this time of year. We'll also see a little more sunshine by the afternoon, but clouds move back in overnight ahead of our next weather maker, which could lead to rain on Tuesday. I'll break down the timing in my Weather Authority forecast.
Well, Christmas morning is just a couple of hours away, and we want to thank those who have sent us their festive photos via Chime In. Juanita shared this photo of her daughter, Tori, meeting Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Hopefully, she gets everything on her list. And here's Santa trying to recruit a new reindeer. 7-month-old dog Gigi. Keep sending us those holiday pictures on Chime In. We'll feature a few more later in the show. Well, the two even showdown in San Francisco.
It was a historic year on Capitol Hill. I'm Scott Thuman in Washington with a look back at the highs and lows of 2023.
We've had a pretty nice and quiet Christmas Eve, and if you'll be traveling tomorrow on Christmas Day, you are in the green around our region. We'll stay nice and quiet, but notice as we look a little bit farther west, we see some areas in yellow with moderate impacts and some higher impact areas in red. So keep that in mind if you'll be traveling for the Christmas holiday. Now, things will begin to change on Tuesday as we get ready for the next weather maker. For Christmas, though, a beautiful forecast. We are talking nice and quiet conditions tonight as our temperatures drop to the upper 30s and the low 40s. Skies will be mostly cloudy, and at times there could be a few areas of patchy fog. Otherwise, we stay nice and mild. Then tomorrow, our high temperatures will be above average. Around the state, we're talking highs reaching the low to mid 50s, and that's around 10 degrees above average for this time of year. So if you plan on spending any time outside for the Christmas holiday, you should be good to go. We've got that patchy fog tonight, then tomorrow, nice, quiet and mild, and by the afternoon, we'll welcome in some more sunshine, finally seeing a break in those clouds. Immediately after Christmas, though, we have our next weather maker, and that will lead to rain showers starting on Tuesday, but the unsettled pattern will last for a few days longer. Notice on the future scan, we'll wake up tomorrow morning to cloudy skies. An isolated shower can't be ruled out, but most of us staying dry as the day begins. By the afternoon, we'll welcome in some more sunshine for a beautiful Christmas. Then the clouds return as we head into the night. We start with dry weather, but it's into early Tuesday morning when our rain chances increase. We're talking spotty showers to begin. Then throughout the day, we'll have scattered showers. And if you will be traveling around the region, the rain could have an impact, not just on Tuesday, but also on Wednesday when we're talking numerous showers across the state and across the region. We're looking at the chance for a few spotty showers on Thursday, and then for Friday, scattered showers, but we return to a dry pattern for the end of the year on Saturday and again on Sunday. Tonight, our temperatures drop to 38 with mostly cloudy skies and calm winds. Good for Santa Claus, nice and calm over our area. Then as we head into the afternoon for Christmas Day, our temperatures will reach the mid 50s as we stay nice and mild, welcoming in some more sunshine by the afternoon. Then you'll notice that our rain chances increase. We're still talking temperatures above average on Tuesday with highs around 54, but we're looking at scattered showers. More rain, 57 on Wednesday, 56 on Thursday, 50 on Friday, then temperatures to finish the year in the 40s with dry weather.
Congress is heading into 2024 with record low approval ratings thanks to what's been a turbulent year on both sides of the aisle. Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman shares how we got here and the challenges ahead on Capitol Hill.
As the year wraps up, lawmakers are looking back on what some would call a tough first year of the 118th Congress.
Well, we had too much infighting on our side of the aisle that really curtailed our ability over a year-long legislative schedule to get some of the things we need to be done.
Congressman, will you resign?
While there were a number of significant events, a speaker losing his position of power,
the office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
A member of Congress kicked out,
You guys gotta get out of my way. Out of his way.
and censure for yet another.
That the House of Representatives censures Jamal Bowman, representative from the 16th Congressional District of New York.
Lawmakers say there were some positive takeaways, both personally and for the legislative body as a whole.
We extended the debt ceiling and established a baseline for spending for 2 years. That was important.
Our border bill, if I had to pick one thing that I'm most proud of, I would say that's it.
Despite division on issues like immigration and health care, there are members who say bipartisanship still exists, even when it doesn't seem like it.
There's a lot of legislation we introduce pretty regularly that gets passed quietly. Sadly, all the major pieces of legislation, what's going on the border, what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on with government funding, drowns it all out.
I'm an optimist or I wouldn't be in this business. You have to pick your battles.
But going into 2024, the vast majority of Americans continue to be disappointed with Congress's job performance. A recent Gallup poll shows just 15% of voters approve of the job their representatives and senators are doing, with a whopping 82% disapproving. Lawmakers are gearing up for a busy year ahead, including negotiations to avoid a government shutdown in the coming weeks, and of course, the November elections. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
A local boutique owner is trying to put pets in the holiday spirit, but doesn't feel the same joy for herself, while she says crime may be forcing her to close her doors. Chateau de Marmont is offering custom-made Christmas pet gear to anyone looking to help their pets get in the festive spirit. The problem is there weren't many takers today. Now, the shop has been open since February, but the owner says she's struggling to stay in business because of crime in her neighborhood.
How can I be fearless when I feel like I need to wear a bulletproof vest just to sell dog treats and dress dogs up?
Back in September, an off-duty Howard County police officer was killed just steps from her storefront. And Juliana isn't the only local business owner to voice crime concerns. Fox 45 News has heard from several business owners who say crime has forced them to shut down their business, including Eddie's grocery store in Mount Vernon. You can find all of our reporting on the impact of crime on small businesses at foxbaltimore.com. Through politics and social media, there's a constant battle over who controls our information. Still ahead, Full Measure looks into how the courts are responding. In politics and on social media, there appears to be fighting over who controls the information we see. And now the courts are weighing in. In Full Measure's Cheryl Atkins explains.
How important do you see this case in terms of a free speech case?
This is the most important First Amendment case in a generation. I mean,
Andrew Bailey is Attorney General for Missouri, which filed the landmark censorship lawsuit against the Biden administration.
We're flagging problematic posts.
Jen Psaki from the White House press secretary's podium established and committed to making sure that big tech social media were clamping down on misinformation, malinformation, information essentially that the White House didn't like. And so that piqued everyone's interest, and we began to realize very quickly that there was a coercive and collusive relationship between the White House across a spectrum of federal bureaucratic agencies with their cronies and woke big tech social media corporations.
Here in Missouri, they've partnered with the state of Louisiana to not only challenge the past actions of the Biden administration, but also to get an order to permanently block the government from similar censorship activities, along with a mechanism to monitor and enforce it.
And we have specific emails where the White House is targeting conservative voices and silencing conservative voices on big tech social media in violation of the First Amendment.
This year, on the 4th of July, the judge in the Missouri lawsuit temporarily banned certain federal officials from colluding with social media while the full case was being decided. Judge Terry Doty wrote, "The evidence produced thus far depicts an almost dystopian scenario. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States government seems to have assumed a role similar to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth. And although the censorship alleged in this case almost exclusively targeted conservative speech, the issues raised herein go beyond party lines. The right to free speech is not a member of any political party and does not hold any political ideology." A 3-judge federal appeals court recently agreed the Biden administration ran afoul of the First Amendment and blocked the White House, Surgeon General, CDC, and FBI from violating free speech rights by coercing social media companies to take down posts the government doesn't like.
There is an argument where people say social media, they're private companies, they can do what they like, it doesn't amount to censorship. What's your response to that?
Well, we reject that, and certainly the courts have rejected that as well.
The Missouri versus the Biden administration lawsuit continues, with the state seeking a permanent ban of government collusion with social media to censor. For Full Measure, I'm Cheryl Atkinson.
A Monday Night Football breakdown in the Ravens' Christmas wish list as they head to San Francisco, ahead on Sports Unlimited. All right, well, some more folks getting into the holiday spirit on Chime, and 2-year-old Alina has an unlikely Christmas hero giving the Grinch a big old hug. Talk about irony. And Tanya Bell tells us she really didn't feel like doing a pink Christmas tree this year, but her granddaughters convinced her. Now she really loves the way it turned out. It is kind of cute. All right, well, that's all for Fox 45 News at 10. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Vincent Hill. Now here's Morgan Atset with Sports Unlimited. Morgan.
Vincent, Merry Christmas. Coming up tonight on Sports Unlimited, the Ravens' Christmas wish list is short. Beat the 49ers. Doesn't mean that will be easy. Two of the league's best offenses, defenses, and MVP candidates are getting ready for those Monday night lights on Christmas. A Week 16 preview is ahead, and how next week with Miami could be even bigger. And we now know the Ravens cannot clinch the AFC North on Christmas night. Why? One word, elite. Joe Flacco's hunting his 4th AFC North title, just not with the Ravens. Sports Unlimited starts after this.
World peace and a win. How about that? Okay? I'm not sure in that order or not.
That was John Harbaugh when I asked him after practice for his Christmas wish list. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Sports Unlimited. I'm Morgan Atset. Merry Christmas Eve and happy holidays. Rocco DeSandro has a night off, but we will see him later in the show to talk Orioles. But really tonight is what it's all about this Christmas season. Meaningful games in the NFL and clinching scenarios. The Ravens already clinched their playoff spot, but come Christmas night, they had a chance to win the AFC North with 2 games to play for the first time since 2019. If the Ravens beat San Francisco and Cleveland would have lost or tied, or if the Ravens tied the Niners and the Browns would have lost. But Mr. Elite is the Grinch who stole the Ravens' Christmas scenario. Browns at the Texans on Christmas Eve, and Texans without C.J. Stroud. The Browns on their 4th quarterback, and Flacco making everyone look silly. He sat on the couch until late November for his 16th season. Right there, all Browns receiver Amari Cooper wanted for Christmas was an elite arm, and he got it. Flacco and Cooper connected for a Browns record 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 catches, and that 75-yard beauty made it 14-0 Cleveland. And Flacco wasn't done. 368 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but he's got the Browns in the win column for the 3rd time since signing, 36-22.
Told me a bunch of times, I'm 225, cuz, you know, and like throw me the ball, basically, you know. So that's how he feels. I know that, and I'm going to get more and more used to letting it go. So.
Now to tomorrow, the Ravens still sit at the top of the AFC North, but can't clinch it tomorrow with a win. Cleveland, with Flacco, has ripped off 3 straight wins. Depending on tomorrow night, they could be just 1 game back from the Ravens and that North title. The Ravens know they're already in, at worst a wild card, but this roster once more. The Ravens are the best team in the league on the road this season, and they're hoping after tomorrow night they aren't on the road again until a neutral site in February. Game 3, the best teams in their divisions, top 2 offenses, the best 2 at running the football, top 10 defenses, MVP talent on both.
Entertainment, you know, it's going to be a very entertaining game, like you said. Both teams number 1 in their division. Just got to go out there ready and focus because it's a great team.
I think it'll be probably the game of the year. I'm excited to be a part of it. They look really, really good. So I know we're a good team, so it'll be a good matchup.
You know, you work for these kind of moments, these kind of games. So, you know, as a competitor, it's certainly exciting. But also at the end of the day, it's 2 great teams going against each other. And, you know, you can't get into the hype too much. You know, you just got to go out there and perform your best.
Ravens injury report for this showdown. Their corner depth in a little bit of trouble. The Ravens will play the 49ers without Arthur Mallett and Jalen Armour-Davis due to their injuries. Rookie Zay Flowers is questionable, but John Harbaugh said on Wednesday he's not worried about the rookie's foot. Baltimore native and rookie Malik Ham also questionable. Week 16 will be a unique position for the Ravens, more so their fan base getting in on the Vegas fun. The Ravens are a rare road dog. It opened at them getting 5.5 points. Betting money has that up to now 6 tonight. Players could care less about the odds, but they do have a problem with all the way the 49ers are viewed compared to them.
The 11-3s are not created equal right now in terms of the 49ers versus us, and we feel a little disrespected by that. I feel like we are the best team in the league, and we got an opportunity in front of the country to show it.
They have a lot of talented guys on that team, offense and defense. It's going to be a great challenge for us. And on Christmas Day, I mean, what more can you ask for? You know what I mean? As a competitor, you want to play against the best. And, you know, right now, everybody's talking about them being the best, so we'll see.
Lamar Jackson's game last week at Jacksonville and really this month has him back in the MVP conversation. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is still the favorite. So tomorrow at San Francisco on Christmas night should be fun for the Ravens because after Purdy, it's Jackson, and then the dark horse would be Dallas's Dak Prescott as MVP frontrunners. Could care less about